Alrighty, what is up, sports geeks? It's your host Josh. You're back with another episode, joined by Alec yet again. Alec, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm settled all in the new job day one today, but still ready to talk some sports. Still ready to mock draft. It is Monday, mock draft Monday. We did the rookie one last week. Went well. I'm excited to get into a full one this week. We're gonna do Superflex, full PPR, 10-team. Superflex this week. Next week, probably no Superflex. We'll probably just go back to a classic. I know we did mention we're going to do a dynasty startup one, which is going to be fun. But I think I might need a week or two for research on that because I don't have any of those this summer, so I'm not doing too much research on them. But I'll have to dive into that. But either way, we'll go ahead and hop into this on Sleeper. Sleeper's awesome with this. Their mock draft system is great. So we're going to go ahead and randomize this. Draft order, we'll randomize it. I'm at 2, you are at 4 here, and then we will go ahead and start this. Alrighty, I'm up first here. I wanted Josh Allen. Was hoping he would be there. I'm going to take Chris McCaffrey. He's really the only guy that I could justify over a quarterback in the first 5 picks, to be quite honest with you.
Yep. I will take I'll take Jalen Hurts here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Hurts. I mean, any of those, Hurts, Stroud, or Lamar, I think I'd be fine with. It's interesting that CeeDee Lamb's ranked as high as he is. I think he's going to be a stud, but we haven't seen a repeat wide receiver 1 in a while. And obviously he was wide receiver 1 last year, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
What he does. Like I personally I wouldn't take him over Tyreek Hill or Jefferson probably. Maybe Jefferson because there's too many mouths to feed, but I don't know.
All right. I'm going to take Puka here.
Yeah, I don't mind that pick. I don't want to go running back here. I need a quarterback, to be quite honest with you. The real question I'm debating is if I can get Garrett Wilson now, can I get Kyler Murray or Jordan Love when it gets back to me? And I feel good about getting one of them. So I'm going to take Garrett Wilson here. Go running back, wide receiver in a super flex, which is not smart. Perfect. So I got Kyler coming back to me. I feel fine about that start. He's still a rushing quarterback. I'm not saying he's a top 10 quarterback in the league, but as far as fantasy quarterback, I'm fine with him being my QB1 here.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Right now, this is tough because I want to go Jordan Love here, but I think the QB depth is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
3 teams right ahead of me, like right after I pick, already have 2. 2 teams already have 2 QBs.
Yep.
The other 3 don't though, so they'll probably go 1. But I feel pretty confident in some of the options that are still left. I'm going to go Bijan here.
Yeah, Bijan's going to have a huge role in that offense. He said he was going to be – I mean, it's him saying this, but I saw that he said he's going to be used like Christian McCaffrey was in Carolina, which hopefully he stays healthier than McCaffrey did in Carolina. But either way, interesting draft strategy out of Team 10 there to go Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Adams, and then Kyron Williams. 0 quarterback in Superflex is interesting. But
yeah. All right, so right here, this is tough. I know it's like not a hot take because I know Jared Goff, what he finished last year. He finished as QB7 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Herbert finished QB17. Points per game, Herbert actually had more. I'm gonna go Herbert here.
Okay.
I think right there you can go either. I'm sure you're gonna go Goff here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, right there. I mean, that's kind of just like the Caleb, Herbert, Goff. Like I think Caleb is below them just because we don't really know yet.
Right.
But I mean, you can make a case for Goff or Herbert.
Right. The thing Caleb does have over Herbert and Goff realistically is weapons. I mean, I think Amon-Ra is better than anybody that the Bears have, but they have 3 good receivers. So I mean, I think that they're going to be just fine. Caleb Williams is going to be productive. He's still great on the ground. That's what he offers over Goff. Doesn't offer you really anything in the rushing game. But I'm fine with that. The Lions' offense is good enough. I like Goff there. I could go Derrick Henry here. I'm not going to just because I'm not a Derrick Henry fan. Moves to Baltimore. Yes, he's on a better team. Yes, he's got a better offensive line, but he's getting older. And the thing that just scares me about this Baltimore, offense is it's always running back by committee. It always is. And I understand that they haven't had somebody as talented as Derrick Henry, right? But last year, Gus Edwards put up, I think, 13 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And finished as the RB, I want to say 28. He was late 20s with 13 touchdowns. So you're telling me if Derrick Henry gets 15 touchdowns, which, he could go for 20, yes. They have a really tough schedule. I think 15 is going to be a very solid. I mean, I guess I'll see what Sleeper's projecting him to get here. They're projecting 10. I mean, for him to get 15 touchdowns, and you're telling me that he might crack the top 20?
10 seems low.
It does. I think he's going to be between 10 and 15, to be quite honest with you.
If Gus Edwards can get – my thing is that just seems low. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, and I don't like to do, like, sports betting for something silly. Oh, you're about to get skipped.
Oh, crap. We'll see who they Pittman is who I was going to end up taking.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just silly to, like, maybe do, like, who will lead the league in catches or rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry he should be in the top 3 odds to lead the league in rushing touchdowns.
Right. But, yeah, and my thing with him is the Ravens have an extremely difficult schedule. And when you get negative game script, a guy like Derrick Henry is unusable. He doesn't offer anything in the passing game. And if you are losing in a game, if you come out in the first half and you're down 14-3 going into the second half, Derrick Henry, unless he scores a touchdown, is not going to offer you any value. His good games are going to be 3 catches.
I will say though, yeah, like the Ravens though don't get behind that often. So
yeah, I'll see if I can edit the time here. Yeah, there we go.
Sweet. Okay.
So let us chat a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm just not that high on Derrick Henry. I think that realistically, I need touchdowns out of him. If he doesn't score a touchdown in a week, he's going to have less than 8 points in a game, probably.
Yeah,
like less than 10 for sure. And that's
because I mean, we saw last year. How many balls did Gus Edwards catch last year? I mean, it was, let's see.
Last year, Gus wasn't much with 13 touchdowns and finishing as the RB 28.
Yeah, last year Gus Edwards had 12 catches. So, and Derrick Henry, he was fed catches last year. He had the most in his career last year, but that's not going to be a thing to stay. So, okay, so right now I'm going to kind of go with a hot take here. I know Mike Evans is still on the board.
Yep.
I hate fading Mike Evans. I'm not fading Mike Evans. I'm not saying that. But I'm going to go Jalen Waddle here.
Okay. The range is really good. I think the receivers in these next 2 rounds, I think there's some studs you can get here.
Yeah. I think for a 10 team, the 5th and like I would say the late 4th, 5th is when you can get real value in wide out.
Yes, because I think through 4 rounds you should have established. I mean, through 3 rounds you need to have at least a quarterback. Through 4 rounds, through round 5 you need to have your 2 quarterbacks essentially. And then I think that the round 6, 7, 8, and if you already have 2 quarterbacks like we do in the 4th round, rounds 5, 6, 7, 8 is where you get those running backs, the receivers, maybe a tight end at really peak value. And that's where you win leagues is those picks 4 through 8. Picks 1 through 4 is just playing safe, right? How can you get guys that are going to contribute consistently, stay on the field? But rounds 5 through 8 or 4 through 8 are league winning rounds.
And I'm also kind of anti running back in the 2nd or 3rd round, but Bijan fell to me so far that I feel like I had to take him.
Right. I'm completely with you. I just had to take McCaffrey there.
Yep. No, I don't blame you for taking McCaffrey. I mean, he's a league winner. Especially if Kyler and Goff can put up even QB1 range. I mean, I think they can. I think they will be if they stay healthy. Garrett Wilson takes a step with Rodgers. I mean, your team's looking good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I like Pittman too. I think Adonai Mitchell is actually going to offer a lot of value for Pittman because he just allows the defense to stretch. Again, Josh Downs taking another step. Yes, they're going to attract a little bit of targets, but Pittman is the alpha in that offense, clearly. And also you have a healthy Anthony Richardson coming back now. So
Yeah.
with Anthony Richardson, I don't know where he went. Okay, 2-4. It's early, but he last year was, I mean, when he was before he got injured, was like a rushing touchdown a week type of value, and he's such a physical runner. He's somebody that between 4 and 5 points from on the ground a game is like minimum, I think, from him. And you think about that from the perspective of like who he's being taken over, Burrow. That means he essentially has a passing touchdown per week of a head start on Burrow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and same thing as Prescott. Burrow has a little bit more rushing upside than Prescott, I would say, but like same thing. That's where that value is. So I like Richardson. Might be a little high, but I still like him there.
Yeah, I love Richardson for fantasy. I love Richardson. Okay, so I'm gonna go. This is tough for me here. I really believe in Malik Neighbors. I really do. I'm a sucker though. I really am. Don't hate me for this.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I want to hear you out because I don't agree with it, but I want to hear you out.
So I know I took Puka. It's just tough for me not to take Cup. Cup is. I think Matt Stafford. I think their offense is good enough to have 2 top 12 receivers.
Okay. The thing that I don't mind is Cup as your wide receiver 3 and having Puka as well. What it gives you the opportunity of is if the offense comes out and they are slinging the ball, right? Kyron Williams had a stupidly high usage rate last year, and just roll. If teams start packing the box and he struggles to run the ball, or if you're in negative game scripts, Cup and Puka's receptions, especially in full PPR here, I mean, you're getting a ton of points there. So I don't mind it a ton.
I think that another reason is I won 2 leagues last year with Puka and Cup on the same roster.
Really?
So yeah, so and starting because you have to think if Stafford's on, one of them is going for 25 plus.
Between the two, you're getting 30.
And some weeks it's 25 from Cup, set 8 from Puka. I think Puka will slowly continue to take over. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for Cooper Cup in the late 6th. I would probably say he has one more year where he has 1,100, 1,200 yards. That's probably his ceiling this year. But
yeah. Well, I'm glad you went Cup over Neighbors because I'm going to end up with Neighbors here. Kind of just one last thing, though. I mean, we talked about Henry there. One last comment on him. Not that I don't think he's going to be good, but look at the guys around him, and that's at the running back position. Achane is somebody that can provide, value outside of touchdowns. Pacheco is the same way. Mixon, if you're going to take a running back that has high touchdown upside on a good offense, take Mixon instead because Mixon also has receiving upside and also will catch 3 passes a game. I mean, in a full PPR format, that's it. Those can be league-winning numbers. James Cook is here, also has the receiving upside. So I just think there's other places I would go at running back over Derrick Henry. But over to me here, I have 8 running back, 2 receivers, 2 quarterbacks. Over the next picks, I probably want 1 receiver, 1 running back. Looking at the board, I like James Cook a lot. The receivers here, I have a couple that I like. And realistically, I don't feel great about James Cook making it back to me. Even though this team has 4 running backs, realistically, I guess for strategy's sake, I'm going to take Neighbors because I would assume that they wouldn't take a running back here.
You never know.
But the CPU on Sleeper might, to be quite honest with you. It is being a little bit slow right now.
I do love Neighbors, though. I just like the Cup thing, maybe just because I had 2 rosters last year where I won the league and I had both of them.
Right. I'm sure that does not.
It definitely doesn't help the it does not help when I'm biased like that.
No, absolutely not. I'm sure. All right, this is struggling to want to let me make the pick. There we go. All right, so I got Malik Neighbors and perfect. So I am able to get James Cook here. I love the way that this roster is shaping up. I have 2 good running backs that offer value outside of touchdowns. I have 3 wide receiver ones on their team, and then 2 quarterbacks with that both have weapons. So I love the spot I'm in right now. I love that pick as well from you. You thinking a bounce back year for Kamara?
Yeah, I mean he has to. He has to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's exactly somebody too that has extreme receiving upside. I mean, you're thinking there's going to be a shift at some point in his career in the next
Yeah.
3 years where he starts to trend downwards, right? But I don't think it's yet.
Yeah, I think like last year he had. I want to make sure I get this right.
Yeah,
I believe it was like over 18 points per game last year. Still, he had 75 receptions last year.
jeez.
So I mean, he's just a tank. He finished 11th. Well, he missed what 4 games? Yeah, because he got suspended.
Yeah, he had a 4-game suspension. Yeah,
And he finished 11th in PPR for running backs. So
wow.
eventually there will be a fall off. I'm just not sure if it's this year.
Yeah,
Because their backup running back situation, Kendra Miller is not very good.
right. He is. I mean, he's coming into his 2nd year. Maybe he makes a
Yeah.
jump, but even if he makes a jump, it's not like he's stealing that much volume from him.
Yep. And like Jamal Williams was very inefficient last year.
Yes. Yes. Over to you now, though. I have somebody I'm really hoping to get. I have a feeling he might be on your board. There's 2 guys I'm cool with, but
Also, the H Brown is messing me up. I keep thinking I don't even know.
no, because Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood instead of, yeah. Okay, this is tough. So I think I know what you'd pick. Can I just tell me what position, and then I'm
going either Pitts or Ingram or Evan Ingram.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna wait. I was gonna go Keenan here.
Okay, I would prefer Ingram, Evan Ingram.
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking at this Jacksonville offense, and Ingram was great last year, absolutely great. And you take away Calvin Ridley now. Now I understand you add Brian Thomas in, right, and he's going to essentially replace Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is better than Brian Thomas will be this year, and Evan Ingram was clearly Trevor Lawrence's favorite target last year. Trevor Lawrence had a terrible year last year, terrible, and still Evan Ingram was very productive. I believe he was I don't know off the top of my head what he finished for amongst tight ends. I can pull it up here really quickly.
You say Evan Ingram?
Yeah.
He was 2nd.
Yeah, I was going to say top 3. But yeah, 2nd to Sam Laporta and missed him by 9 points. I mean, like this is somebody that is going to command a ton of targets.
It's a sneaky play. And in the late 8th, that's a great pick.
Yes. I mean, I'm looking at the tight ends that there's I'm taking Ingram over Kincaid every time, realistically. Yeah. I mean, I understand Diggs and Gabe Davis are both gone from that offense. Kincaid's going to get more, but I love Ingram a ton. Back to me now, though. I mean, where I'm looking at now, it's complete best player available, which I love. This spot I'm in, James Conner's not a bad shout. Shout out to Zemo. He always loves James Conner. Yeah. There's a couple of different ways I could go here. I like Jordan Addison a ton at this value. This is somewhere I don't mind going a little further down to get somebody I really like. I think that's where I'm going to go is Jordan Addison.
Okay.
I don't think J.J. McCarthy is that good, but I do think that Minnesota's offense is just good, and being the secondary receiver behind Jefferson means that you're going to get targets because Jefferson gets swarmed by the defense. So I like Jordan Addison there. You go Pitts. I think that's a great pick as well.
Damn it. Excuse me. I wanted Chubb bad. I think Chubb is a very, very, very sneaky player this year. I think he's going to be a lot healthier earlier than people notice. Mm-hmm. If you can get Chubb, say you get Chubb in the 10th, mid-10th. If he doesn't play until week 8, he's going to be healthy when he plays. He could win you a league if he goes in the 9th or 10th round.
Well, the thing that you're getting here is that you're drafting him as your running back 3, right? Yeah. So you don't need him to play until bye weeks.
And hypothetically, because the running back position is so volatile and just so weird, you're probably only carrying 3 running backs anyway. I mean, you could be carrying more as a dart throw.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, but you're not rostering 6 running backs.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? So if you get a guy like Chubb, wait for him to get healthy, and then your running back position is set, and you're really only needing 3 running backs for 2 spots anyway.
Yeah.
So because realistically, you'd probably playing wideouts, like a deeper dart throw at wideout for a flex.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I'd rather take a flyer on like a rookie and see if he pops off.
Yeah, so this is just a weird spot for me now because I really wanted Chubb or Worthy. They both didn't fall. I want to get your opinion on DeAndre Hopkins this year because they brought in Ridley. We're kind of waiting for Will Levis to pop. What do you think about Hopkins?
I think Hopkins is. I mean, he's clearly been trending down in his career, right? In the last couple of years, you still have Will Levis there, but to me, I think Hopkins finished as a wide receiver 22 last year. I just don't see anything that happened this offseason that makes me think he's going to finish. I mean, even remotely improve on that. That's my issue.
It's tough. It's just tough because he did have over 1,000 yards last year, but now you're adding Calvin Ridley, who's going to take at least 25% of target share because they paid him. So it's tough.
Well, the other thing too is that D-Hop he's getting older, right? And he didn't miss a game last year, completely healthy. So if he misses 2 games, which is not crazy to think at all, I mean, that takes him outside of the top 30. So I just don't think there's any way that I could take him. I don't know where we're at right now, wide receiver wise, total receivers that have gone, but he's not somebody I love at this value. I think there's guys that I would take over him, like even like a flyer. I'm hoping for Deontay Johnson, so I'd rather you not pick him. But Deontay Johnson, somebody that's a wide receiver 1 on his team that I feel great about, and even somebody like Keon Coleman is a wide receiver 1 on his team that I would feel better about. Like there's just several names down here that I like better than D-Hop that I just don't trust him.
And then looking at my team right now, if you look at my team, and this is me every time I draft a team ever, but I really think that my team could be a playoff team.
Yes.
Just because my QBs are, both QB1s, Bijan fell. Even if Kupp isn't as good, either for me, Kupp or Allen just has to be good. Not both, really just one of them. So I like to take risks when I feel like my team has a solid first 8-9 picks. I'm going to go Rashee Rice here. I think it's a good play. He might not play, but getting him in the 9th round, 9th, 10th round, somewhere in there, I'm sure he'd drop further in some leagues. I think that's a good value, even if he plays 8 games.
Yeah.
I think that's worth it.
I agree with you. I mean, clearly Mahomes loved him last year. Andy Reid loves to use him. Travis Kelce, again, is going to be trending down. I understand you take Xavier Worthy. They're not the same player at all. Rashee Rice is a reliable screen pass. I don't want to call him a screen pass merchant, but he is excellent in the screen pass game. He is excellent down the field. He's excellent over the middle. He's excellent at everything. And he has that established chemistry with Mahomes. I like the pick there. To think going into the offseason he was going to be taken here is crazy. Obviously, adding Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy is the reason for that. But for me here, I want 2 guys, and they're both from Carolina. I never thought I'd say that here. But given where I'm at, again, with this team 1, they have 4 running backs already. I don't think they're going running back. So I feel good about getting Jonathan Brooks there. I'm going to take Deontay Johnson. If they take Jonathan Brooks, I'm going to be upset, and they do. I feel
Hawk. I was going to take Hawk.
I feel very confident that that in a real draft, that's never going to happen. So I'm not that upset, but I mean, I would in real draft, I'd be fuming right now that I didn't give Brooks. Because I need a 3rd running back. I only have 2 right now. I need a 3rd one. Looking at the guys here, there's nobody that really catches my eye as, I want a piece of that. To be quite honest with you, I don't like the Cincinnati backfield at all. I just don't think they're going to be throwing the ball or running the ball. And I think Chase Brown and Zach Moss probably just split that. I like Tyjae Spears, to be quite honest, behind Tony Pollard. I like him. He progressed well last year. He had good upside in the receiving game, and Pollard's starting to degress. Right, he's starting to get worse. I like Tyjae Spears probably more than Pollard at this range.
I like that. I really like that. I think you're betting on him just because he's not lasting to you the next time,
right?
Like to your next pick. So you're kind of betting on him being better than Pollard. I could definitely see that. I think they'll probably split a backfield. But as we've seen, Tony Pollard was better as a 2, and he was a heck of a 2. So, but that year Zeke still was eating. So and with the Bengals scheme coming over with Brian Callahan, I just don't know if Will Levis is good enough for them to air raid kind of like they did in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. So I think they will lean heavily on the running backs.
Well, the other thing too is that like Tyjae Spears last year finished as RB34. So, that RB3, RB4 range. And, weeks 1 through 3, he didn't really do anything. So if you're in, this is the other thing. If you're asking me who's a better running back, Derrick Henry or Tony Pollard? Derrick Henry, right? As a rookie, Tyjae Spears finished as RB34 behind Derrick Henry.
Yep.
So now you have a second-year Tyjae Spears playing behind a worse starter. I think he's going to be a top 30 running back this year. Yeah. And, I could see the other thing, again, this is what we're talking about, is he's my running back 3. I don't need him to play weeks 1 through 4. I don't need him to. And it's kind of like a way of the situation, right? Maybe by week 4, I realized, he's not. I need to pick somebody else up, But I like the value given the location here, and like what you're saying too. Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it back to me. And so many times when you draft with people, the whole drafting process is like, who are the top 6 guys? I'll pick one of these guys. You're allowed to go down here and pick guys. Like, that's okay. There are guys down here that will win you leagues. And
you just have to be right.
Yes. If you have a strong feeling about somebody, like last year, Brandon Ayuk's going in round 4 through 6, right? If you feel really good about him, take him in the round 4 or take him in round 3. And he would have won you leagues last year. So I just, draft your guys. Don't worry necessarily as much about rankings.
I remember last year I picked up, in one of our leagues, I was getting trolled because I spent the rest of my fab budget on a guy named Puka Nacua. And then he ended up being like one of the greatest rookie receivers ever. And then in one of my friends' leagues, I picked Puka in like the 14th round. And people were like, what are you doing? Yeah. It was like, well, there's some buzz on this guy. I'm not saying nobody knew he was going to be like, God tier, but
right.
There's always those chances where you take on guys late where if it hits, you look like a genius. And if you don't, then everybody forgets about it. It doesn't even matter.
Right. And that's why too, I love, this is, a strategy that we'll talk more about in the coming months too. I rarely will draft a kicker. Never will draft a defense.
Never.
And, the kicker, I will, if everybody refuses to draft a kicker, I'll draft Tucker, that in the last round.
Yep.
But, I would much rather, especially if you're drafting like this early, a defense for the next 3 months, up until 3 days before, up until, the day of their game in week 1 provides you no value. Yep. And their value will never increase. Whereas a rookie wide receiver through camp, right? Whoever it is
Xavier Legette.
Yeah, Malachi Corley is one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets all through camp. Yep. Yes, you should have drafted him over your defense because now, guess what? He's picked up by everybody. That's just another strategy. But I'll let you get your pick. You're getting low there on time.
Yeah, so this is tough. And this is tough for me because Devon Achane, love him.
Mm-hmm.
My team's average age is going to be like 40. I take Raheem Mostert here. And it's just really hard for me when I know Raheem Mostert had 18 touchdowns last year. I don't want to fall into that trap, but I think I'm going to. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
going to fall into the trap.
Yeah, I mean, he finished RB5 and didn't play 2 weeks. I mean, week 17 or 18.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he would have played, he would be, RB3. So,
And I also think that when you have a draft like my team is right now, if it goes a certain way, like if I already took Kupp and Keenan Allen, right? So if I'm already kind of all in for older players.
yeah.
And if it's gonna, if Kupp and Allen don't hit, I'm probably not winning. So
Right.
I might as well bank on another guy who has, maybe his floor is way lower. Maybe they get hurt because they're older. But if they play and they continue and maintain 80-90% of what they were, I mean, he's an RB1.
Yes.
Especially with that offense.
Yep. Absolutely. Back to you here, though. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so this is tough as well. So that would be my RB3. 2 RBs over the age of 28, though. So injury concerns there. That's why I could see myself again going RB in this draft, just because I have 2 guys that are a little older. But right here, this is tough because who just went? Yeah, I was thinking about Brian Thomas or Christian Watson, but Christian Watson went right before me. I'm not the biggest Jameson Williams fan.
Okay.
We've talked about this a little bit. It just hasn't translated into games. I'd love it to. I love Jameson Williams. I would love for him to translate. I just don't know if he will with the target share that Laporta, Gibbs, and Amon-Ra will kind of take up. I know that we talked about, Josh Reynolds leaving, so it kind of opens up that second dynamic guy. I just don't know if his routes are going to convert to actual targets and yards.
Yeah, I'll let you make your pick. I'm going to pick Jameson Williams if he's there, but I'll talk about him either way after your pick.
Yep. So I'm going to go here. This is tough because it's super flex. So I'm going to go with kind of a sneaky option here. It's not sneaky, but it's getting to be the 12th round, bye week QB. I'm going to take Baker here.
Okay. So here I want, to be quite honest with you, I want J.J. McCarthy and Jameson Williams. Those are the 2 guys I want in my picks. I'm going to survey to see what the computer has. Not that it matters at all with this guy. So I'm going to take Jameson Williams first because he has two quarterbacks. There's a chance. But to be quite honest with you, the difference between Deshaun Watson and J.J. McCarthy is not crazy to me. Whereas the difference between Jameson Williams and the next wide receiver.
Correct. I agree with that.
So that's kind of where I'm surveying this. I'm going to take Jameson Williams here, but I mean, I've seen a lot of good things about him in camp. Nice. So I'm going to get J.J. McCarthy here as well. But I've seen a lot of good things about him in camp. Goff, has talked very highly of him, working his ass off and progressing through pretty well. It's one of those where I think this is a breakout year incoming. Towards the end of last year, we saw him actually start to get catches consistently. And I mean, he was going over 50 yards a couple times. It's somebody that, am I drafting them to be a starter in week 1? Absolutely not. But I mean, looking at this, at the last 3 weeks of the season, he didn't play in week 18. But in weeks 15, 16, 17, he went 8.7, 9.3, 9.5. So you're telling me that this is a guy that's starting to command a little bit of targets last year with Josh Reynolds, who was playing well.
Yeah.
Obviously Laporta he was tight end 1 last year.
Yeah.
Is he probably going to repeat? Maybe he could. He's talented enough. He could, but it's unlikely to be tight end 1 2 years in a row, right? The first 2 years of your career to be that tight end 1, it's unlikely. And then you look at, Amon-Ra was wide receiver 3. He could do that again, but realistically, there's a high chance he's not. So I think if either one of those guys takes a step back, Jameson Williams is who picks up the slack. And also looking at the guys in this range, who are you finding that is on an extremely high-powered offense with the outright wide receiver 2 job to them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't see anybody here. I don't like any of those top receivers left.
Right. Like if I'm at this point, I'm going to take somebody like Adonai Mitchell or
Leggett, or a rookie, or if you believe in Mitchell, Leggett, like somebody like that, where you're kind of just you're banking on. I just can't live with myself. Like I would rather, like, and this is just me. I'd rather take a rookie and have a chance for them to pop than me take Cortland Sutton. Like I just
Yes.
can't live with myself. You know what I mean?
Yep, I would agree. But either way, JJ McCarthy, I don't think he was worth the 12th overall pick. Positional value maybe, but I don't think he's going to be an excellent NFL quarterback. But what he does have is elite weapons. He's got the best wide receiver in the league. He's got a really good wide receiver too, and he's got a great tight end once Hawkinson gets healthy. That alone is going to make him fantasy relevant. If Murray or Goff were to go down on a bye week, that's who I'm gonna throw in there is JJ.
Love that. Yeah, I think JJ is in easily the best situation. Other than Caleb Williams, of course, because Caleb Williams' weapons are insane as well. But JJ McCarthy landed in probably the best spot, even with Chicago. Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
Really, I love Drake May. Really wish Drake May would have ended up in Minnesota. They tried to trade up for him. Didn't work out.
I'm glad he didn't as a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Well, I think if Drake May ended up in Minnesota, I think he's being drafted like ahead of Daniels, ahead of probably Lawrence. Like in
it's
that
close.
range.
I think he's probably in a 6th round, 7th round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, because Daniels, we've talked about this before. If they average, what is it? If they have over 100 carries, 90-something% of the time, they're a top 12 QB. We went over that stat last year. So right here, this is tough for me. I'm gonna go Xavier Leggett here.
Mm-hmm. Get your guy there.
Again, we're not NFL scouts. We're not NFL GMs. So I'm not going to act like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to watching film. But who I do trust is Steve Smith. And Steve Smith loves Xavier Leggett. He loves him. And Steve Smith has been pretty damn good at analyzing college wideouts that come into the NFL. So if he has Steve Smith's stamp of approval, who knows a heck of a lot more about playing wide receiver in the NFL than I do, I'm going to believe Steve Smith. And I'm also going to believe the draft capital, even if it's from a team that has not drafted wide receivers well in the past. I am going to trust Steve Smith on this one.
Yep. I love it.
All right. So this will be my second last pick. Again, no kickers, no defense. Yep. I don't want any of that BS. I don't care who my defense is. It matters if you have like the Cowboy. Pretty sure 4 or 5 years ago, Patriots scored like 25 plus points. Their defense did for like 5 straight weeks to start the year, and I had them. That matters, but the odds of that happening are so low that it's not
draft. You don't draft. You can't predict that.
No.
I think what you do, what my strategy is defense wise, is if I'm 8 games into the season and I'm looking like a playoff team, what I start to do, well, I guess either way, what I start to do is I kind of start to scout out teams that have easy schedules in weeks 15, 16, 17, right? And those are the teams that I'm highlighting, right? Like, the Chargers play the Broncos in week 15, and then they play the Panthers in week 16. Okay, that's and the Patriots in 17. I don't know if any of that's true. That's a team I want. I want the Chargers defense now and let them sit on my bench. I don't care because I know I'm going to use them in the playoffs.
Yep.
But I'm not drafting them right now at all. Here, I would like another running back. I'm probably going to take Jerome Ford here.
Yeah.
If Chubb comes back and isn't good and really struggles to get healthy, Ford could really win some carries there. So if for some reason something were to go wrong there, I like that. I only have one tight end here. I'm probably okay with that. It's Evan Ingram. Knock on wood, but he's been pretty healthy throughout his career. I'm probably taking a rookie here. This is the nice tool by Sleeper. Rookies only. I want to take somebody that's a flyer, somebody that could come in at this point, and who's the next Puka? That's not going to be Puka, but who could start for me at some point. Adonai Mitchell maybe could do that. Troy Franklin maybe could. Yeah. I think even down here, not getting much. Luke McCaffrey could. I'm a big fan of Luke McCaffrey. Probably not paying the price here. I'm going to take Troy Franklin, though. He's playing with his college quarterback. He's somebody I could legitimately see getting 10 targets a game by week 5.
Yep. No, I actually really like Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
I think they would have taken him earlier if they had a second or third.
Yeah.
So I actually really do believe that. So, all right. So I went Shaheed, my last pick, with Clint Kubiak is coming in as the offensive coordinator. I really think that they're going to just air it out.
Mhm.
Even though dink and dunk Derek Carr is still the QB. I really think they're going to use a lot of motion. So I was looking into this. The Saints were last in motions used over the last 2 years. And Clint Kubiak comes from the 49ers, who use the most amount of motion. So I think this offense is going to look a lot more dynamic.
Yeah.
Shaheed's easily the wide receiver too. So I like him there. And then, so I'm going to go Charbonnet here.
Yeah, I love the pick there as well. That's a handcuff pick, right?
Yeah, I mean
And
for my RB4, he's one. For some weeks, he will be a top 12 option if Kenneth Walker's out, because
yes,
he's going to
yes,
get 20, 25 touches.
yeah, and you know that Kenneth Walker at some point is going to be out for a couple games,
Yep.
like he always does, right? Um, but I mean, I like that. I like that. With the Superflex, obviously it was a good draft. I felt like both of us had solid teams.
Yep.
I didn't survey the other teams too much. I know that whoever drafted first had a hell of a lot of running backs, and they took Jonathan Brooks from me. But either way, went pretty well. Excited for more mock drafts. Obviously, this is very, very early for mock drafts. Most leagues are probably in the early August or August maybe, or really early September. But we're hashing out the rust,
Yep.
getting rid of the rust here and getting back into it. We got coming back with more episodes though, more mock drafts. WNBA Caitlin Clark evaluations on the way here
Yeah.
soon. Getting a ton of attention, which is awesome. So we're going to be breaking that down a little bit and got some more stuff coming on the way. But other than that, this has been the Sports Geeks